About 2 weeks before that. What's the calendar like? About 2:30 in the afternoon, maybe 3.
What day?
23rd.
Is that a Monday?
A Monday.
I have a,
The checks aren't ready until 2:30. We could do it some other Monday.
I have a standing 3 o'clock on Mondays.
You have what?
A standing 3 o'clock meeting.
3 o'clock? You can do that?
No, I have a meeting from 3 to 4 on Mondays.
Well, then let's go to the next, it would be the,
No, my meeting is every Monday.
It's 6:30.
we'll work it out.
Yeah, well,
Okay, ready?
You're ready.
Please stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us for this March meeting of the Middlesex County School Board. Please, are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? May I then have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We will now move to public announcements of upcoming Middlesex County Public School events. Tomorrow, a very important event, we will submit our recommendation for the 26-27 budget for the schools to the Board of Supervisors. On the 11th and 12th, Middlesex High School students take the writing SOLs. Our prayers go with them. March the 20th is the end of quarter 3. It's hard to believe, but we're going to be going into the last quarter. March 27th, early release of students and staff. I thought I'd get some applause for that. On March the 30th, spring break.
Y'all can cheer.
You can.
It's coming.
On March 30th and 31st, we're completely closed. On April the 6th to the 7th is the National Assistant Principals Week. And on April the 13th, we will meet again right here for the April School Board meeting. And at this time, I will invite Dr. Seitz to present recognitions.
I do, and I'm going to actually go to the podium. And I would like to invite Dr. Carol Walsh to join me down front. Thank you, Dr. Walsh. And now I'm going to take just a minute to read why I have invited Dr. Walsh down here to join me. She has been officially nominated for the William C. Lowry Mathematics Specialist Educator of the Year Award, which she has earned. The award highlights Dr. Walsh's transformative leadership and her impact on mathematical excellence in Middlesex County Public Schools. Dr. Walsh has made a significant impact on teaching and learning in mathematics. She is recognized for her commitment to supporting both teachers and administrators in their collective goal to increase student achievement. The nomination points to several key achievements during Dr. Walsh's tenure, and she has been here for how many years in Middlesex County Public Schools?
About
25, 26 years.
No.
She started as a mathematics teacher, and now she's been our mathematics specialist for, just remind me, 15 years. And so what she has done, just recently she's been instrumental in implementing high-quality instructional materials and leading complex projects such as curriculum alignment and textbook adoption. She has supported and coached teachers throughout the process of the important implementation of KIDM at the elementary school and math space at the middle and high schools. Both of these are new textbooks and resources which you all approved for use for this year. Dr. Walsh provides high-quality professional development and one-on-one coaching that challenges educators to examine the essential elements of instruction. She uses the most recent education research to support our teachers in their classrooms. Her work has been vital in providing strategies for students who need support and for students who need advancement. She provides guidance for instruction across all grade levels by using student achievement data to give students and teachers the strategies needed for success. The William C. Lowry Mathematics Educator of the Year Award is a high honor intended to recognize those who demonstrate outstanding dedication and effectiveness in the field of mathematics education. And we are beyond fortunate to have Dr. Walsh on our team. She is such a valuable team member, and as I've shared with you, is that she is a valuable team member in her work with teachers and administrators and what she does to support our students. And so we recognize you this evening. I know that the Virginia Council of Teachers of Mathematics will award you in their own way, but we have a certificate for you. And then we also have a book for you. So, thank you. We appreciate it.
Congratulations, Dr. Walsh. And now we will move to educational highlights from Middlesex Elementary School.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Our division is very fortunate to have several partnerships within the community who are willing and eager to collaborate with our teachers to plan for meaningful learning experiences. Mrs. Boucher is our 5th grade science teacher, and she has been committed to ensuring that we are providing our students with the most enriching experiences by collaborating with several of those partners. And tonight, we wanted to highlight and showcase some of the opportunities that our students have had this year.
Thank you all. I also want to thank my students who came today. When all their peers had the day off, they came in to tell some of the things they've learned this year and what we've been up to. So this year in 5th grade, we've had several opportunities to learn through hands-on experiences with our community partners. And on the next slide, you'll see some of those that we have been with. So through these activities, we've taken what we've been learning in the classroom, and the kids have been able to see hands-on in the real world around them, examples of these with our community partners. So Friends of the Rappahannock, we've actually gotten to work with twice. They came to MES, and we did a schoolyard tour, and they saw examples of how MES affects our local watershed and ways that erosion is or isn't present. So they got to experience that. Because that went so well, we reached back out to them, and they also joined us on a field trip where students got to learn more about oysters and just how well they do filter water. We met with the Virginia Institute of Marine Science to learn more about fish adaptations, the Fairfield Foundation, and the Machicomico State Park Rangers, where our students had experiences with erosion, excavating artifacts and pottery, and also learned, adding on to what they knew about oysters, how oyster shells can be used to in construction, and how in the original home on the site it was used as like a spackling compound. Most recently, Hampton Roads Sanitation Department visited us for Engineers Week, and students got to try their hand at being an engineer, creating marble runs to show how important it is in the engineers' work to be able to work together on a daily basis. In addition to those, I wanted to make sure to mention the Marine Legacy Program and the Urbana Oyster Festival for covering fees when Friends of the Rappahannock came. All of that was free for our students through those organizations. So I'm going to turn it over to our 5th grade scientists here, and each of them is going to share a little bit about what they learned.
Hi, my name is Avery. When Friends of the Rappahannock visited our class, we explored the outdoors. We discussed different habitats around the perimeter of our school, looked into a storm drain, and also did an experiment to see how the water would go into the ground. What I liked most about visiting was learning about the environment around our school.
Hi, my name is Madden. I learned that oysters are really good at filtering water, up to 50 gallons per day. For the activity with Friends of the Rappahannock, we learned to try to filter water better than an oyster, using supplies like pine needles, coffee filters, and cotton balls. Even with all those supplies, we couldn't compare to an oyster.
Hi, my name is Carson. When we went on a field trip to the Fair Foundation, I learned that if you heat oyster shells up so you can make limestone. The people at Timberneck House were using the limestone to fix cracks in the walls of the whole house. If I could go back and do one activity again, it would be when we got to excavate artifacts from outside the house.
Hi, my name is London Jones. I learned that the shape of a fish's tail can determine how fast or how slow they can swim. I also found out that you can tell what a fish eats by the size of its teeth. My favorite thing that we did was being able to see and touch real examples of fish and to see their adaptations.
Hello, my name is Liam, and when the Hampton Roads Sanitation District came over, I learned that engineers have to work together and design things like pipes to safely move water. One of my favorite experience was building the marble run, and they even gave us extra time to further improve our marble run.
I wanted to say one more thank you just to Middlesex. This is only my 2nd year here, but it's clear that having ties to community organizations and being able to bring those into the school is important, and that's been fostered and developed. I know when I first came, I heard about the environmental literacy plan, and I've never seen that before in another school that I worked in. So I do appreciate all the work that's been put into making it a priority for our students. So thank you all for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Great teaching, and obviously a lot of learning. So
Great
now,
community partners. I really appreciate the work with community partners too.
we do. Any public comments? No public comments, then we'll move on to board member comments and reports.
I do not have anything tonight.
I do. On Saturday, Dr. Seitz and I had the pleasure of going to Richmond and observing the symposium put on by the Governor's School, and especially one of our very own, Caitlin Hargrove. Caitlin's research, and these were all research presentations based upon hard evidence. Her research had to do with the assessing future vulnerability of 4 Outer Banks coastal communities by observing historical changes in shoreline position. It sounds like that ought to be in a journal someplace, Caitlin. It really was an impressive presentation, and as Dr. Seitz said, the room was packed. So if you're considering purchasing some real estate on the Outer Banks, see Caitlin first. Caitlin, anything you want to say about that experience? Really, was it a good experience?
I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot about the research process, and I learned so much about the scientific side of erosion, but also how much thought goes into insurance policies. And it was just a really unique experience, and I enjoyed it a lot.
There were, how many presentations would you think?
I honestly don't know, but there were a lot.
30, 35 maybe?
I would say so.
Something like that. And these were all first-rate college-level presentations. And so, Caitlin, I think you're going to some school in Charlottesville, is that right? I forget which one is there, but I think that this experience will be an asset to you as you go forward in your life. Dr. Seitz, do you have any comments?
No, I second what you said. It was pretty impressive, I think. You know, there was the research that they did, and then the project, and then the presentation piece, and then I think the hardest part was there were judges in each session, and there were questions from their judges, and then just random questions from the audience they had to take. So I think that was probably the scariest part. All of the students that we were able to see 3 sessions, because some of the Middlesex students were in sessions at the same time. They were just very impressive. Caitlin did a great job also.
Good job. And we won't embarrass you anymore, at least not right now. So I have one other report. I think it was the 28th of February. We had a school construction meeting when we're working on the renovations that we'd like to do for the high school. And in one sense, it was a good meeting. We have kind of soft commitments from the supervisors, at least from the chair of the supervisors, but we still don't have the financing worked out. And so we're working on that to see if we can find out when the supervisors will be voting on the issue of providing the financial wherewithal for us to be able to move ahead with the construction of the renovations of the high school. We've been working on this for now going on 5 years, and so it's probably about time to have some more concrete, both in terms of the construction and in terms of the commitment.
I would agree.
You were there. Any other comments?
I think that's a good summary
Okay.
of the meeting, yes.
So we're trying to move forward in a slow process. So, Tommy?
We had our meeting over at Bridging Communities, and this one we discussed the budget that was proposed for this upcoming year. It went up to $171,000, and it's roughly changed about $6,000 from last year for 30 kids, so there's not really much of a change there. They got some important dates coming up. They got the signing day on May 6th at the New Kent High School. And then the golf tournament is on May 15th at Brookwoods.
Okay, thank you. And it's your turn.
I attended my first meeting of the Middle Peninsula Regional Special Education Committee. It's a mouthful, with Dr. Seitz and Ms. Velez, and it was mostly organizational and content. I don't think I really have anything to report, but I'm excited to work with that group. I think we meet quarterly.
Thank you. So one thing I failed to mention is that tonight is a school night, and so if any of our students in the audience and their parents need to get home to do their homework or something like that, watch the World Baseball Classic on TV, whatever you want to do, feel free to go ahead and leave at this time. If you want to stay and hear some more boring reports, welcome to stay.
And don't forget Caitlin's report. I'm sure there's basketball on tonight. Somebody's got to be playing
There's
basketball
baseball.
tonight.
All right, so now it's time for, what? Oh, Caitlin. Oh. All right, Caitlin. Do you have a report after that weekend?
Not as much as I would have liked to get, but so the K-Kids at the elementary school are going to host an animal shelter drive at the end of this month. I don't have a lot of details on that, but and then the third graders also participated in the Math Olympics. The pre-kindergartners hosted a Wolf Trap resident artist in the last week of February, and she was able to come and teach lessons of art using movement, music, and puppetry throughout that week. TSA is preparing for their state competition, which is coming up May 3rd, I want to say. The band received superior ratings at their annual assessment, and the Spanish Honor Society is in the process of organizing their annual spring fundraiser.
Thank you
Of
very
course.
much. And now we go to the budget proposal.
The budget proposal, and I have about 4 slides. I can go down to the podium and go through my 4
Okay.
slides. It's not anything new. I'll tell you.
I think we've seen it 4 or 5 times.
Seen it a few times. A couple little tweaks here.
All right, so the proposed budget that I'm going to give you, the numbers I'm going to give you this evening are the exact same numbers that were presented at our public hearing on the 23rd. All right, and so what I went through at that time, and I will just highlight for you again this evening, are the considerations always that could be potential increases on any fiscal year. And so for positions, no new positions. The last time I presented to you, though, I did note that we had eliminated 2 positions. We have now eliminated 3 positions. We've had some other things come up that were additional costs during the school year. Some of those, or for next school year, some of those I'll hit on when we get to the instruction piece. We are making some, or proposing to make some changes in our technology department and moving from purchase services to full-time staff, which gives us more consistency and stability in IT. And so that's part of what falls into that area. Insurance, we met today for our renewal. We came in at just about 13% increase. I will say that what we built into this budget is complete absorption so that there is no increase to staff. So that increase is included in this budget. And then in the area of instruction, inflation, and operations, that's where we saw increases due to inflation. We had subscription increases. We had some of our purchase services that regularly go up. We've had tuition increases in any of the places, most of the places that we pay tuition to. Our workers' compensation, what we pay for that has increased for the next school year. I had said before that we are increasing lines for substitutes, professional development, and tuition reimbursement. And that is to help especially the professional development and tuition reimbursement is to help with teacher retention. We had some one-time purchases that at this point we have either moved over to CIP or we have eliminated a couple of them to make this budget work. For compensation, still the proposal that we've started with in the very beginning, which is for teachers, a step plus 4%, and all other staff, a step plus 3%, because we just cannot continue to remain at the bottom of our pay scale for teachers, especially in the region. And for capital improvements, this is the same as what was presented at the public hearing. It's changed slightly from when we first presented the budget. So for bus replacement cycle, this is the cost for 2 diesel buses. This takes us back to a replacement cycle where one year we had 1 bus, the next year we had 2, and then we went back to 1. We had gotten off of that schedule a little bit when we had the opportunity to have some grants for electric buses, and we want to get back on that so that our buses stay in line with what the BDOE guidelines are. The MHS rooftop units, this is for 2 units there. We will continue to have to do significant upgrades at the high school if there's not a significant renovation that goes forward, so this is one area that's in need. We were able to move our technology infrastructure purchases into the CIP. This is the same thing that the county does, and so we've moved that in there. And then weapons detection, that's moving from a leased program that we've had to a one-time purchase, falling in the CIP project area. And so, as I said, these numbers are the same that were presented at the public hearing. You'll see there's an increase in state funds, slight decrease in federal. There is an increase, and that allows our E-rate, our entire E-rate amount to go into the other funds category, which is spent all at one time. So overall, our operations ask, which is the local ask, is down about $78,000 because of some of the shifts that we did or were able to do for CIP. And you'll see that the total ask in the local funds, which covers operation and debt service, is just over $14 million. I will tell you and remind you that this budget is based on Governor Youngkin's budget that was proposed in December of 2025. The General Assembly does close on this Saturday, and so we can have hopes that hopefully, that's using hope twice, we will have a signed budget by the governor. We just don't know exactly when that would be, but we are hopeful that that would be a little bit earlier than it has been. I have, both Ms. Murray and I have had meetings with the county administrator, both the current county administrator and the incoming county administrator, in looking at the details of the county's budget. They have continued to say that they have cuts still to make. We have continued to present our case and argue for what the school needs are here. I'm required by code as a superintendent to present a needs-based budget to you all for approval, and that has to be submitted to the local funding source, which for us is the Board of Supervisors, has to be submitted to them by April 1. The county schedule, I did get an updated budget calendar for them, and they've pushed a little bit later their public hearing and then adoption of the county budget, which moves further into April. And so it could be that we don't know the final, answer and response on this request at that time, and we'll be able to go forward with our budget. But I do, for this evening, present to you this budget for your approval. And at this time, if there's questions for me or certainly any discussion on your part before the approval, we are ready for that.
Questions?
What's the impact on that third position that you mentioned that we're cutting?
So it is currently, if you remember, our kindergarten class was significantly lower than what we had predicted. That cohort will move through, and so we've eliminated that general education position at the elementary school. So it's not a position that anyone holds at this moment.
I have a question, just to be clear. The budget that you are proposing and that if we approve it would be submitted contains a 5.3% increase for faculty and an increase of 4.3% for other staff.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Seitz.
You're welcome.
So after we've heard the details of the budget for, I don't know, the 4th or 5th time, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. It is approved. The next item is the disposal of surplus items request.
Yes, as per our policy, any items that we are considering as surplus items that have a value of $500 or more need approval for them to be listed as surplus so that they can be put out for either sale or bid. And so you can see within the packet that there are 4 buses that fit that criteria, and I bring this to you tonight for approval for them to be added to our surplus list.
Questions? Are these currently operational?
No, in fact, 2 of them don't run at all.
Oh, okay. So, since there are no questions, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. We will now move to information items, and I recognize Dr. Bishop for the instructional report.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. Today was a professional learning day for the staff, and all teachers were really engaged in a lot of really hard work, and they were able to really dive deep into the data. For instance, the elementary math teachers reviewed data from the fall and winter growth assessments. They looked at those and numbers of questions and the strands. They looked at trends of student performance and what they see in the classroom. Teachers explored what was most challenging for students and what were their strengths. The history teachers at the high school, they reviewed, we have peer assessment, which is an online assessment where the teachers build tests. So we had Nicole Huntley help with those teachers, and they with new SOL practice items and technologically enhanced items so that the students at the high school can really have a good sense of how those tests are developed. The English department at SCW reviewed SOL data going by student to find out what each student needed for this from March, as we approach the SOL assessments, looking at student engagement strategies and best practices. Art teachers were right here in this room over here, reviewed their standards and discussed ways to promote art. They addressed how to vertically articulate, what to do at each grade level so it builds upon itself. And they're also planning the Fine Arts Night. The CTE department used AI prompt to use Gemini, which is our AI platform, to look at how they can put the competencies into the plan and develop a year-long plan for their curriculum maps. And then the PE department focused on 5 C's: communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and civic responsibility, and how to implement that into their classroom. So that was just a smattering of the things that our teachers are doing today, really thinking about instruction, thinking about each student individually, and planning for the next few months as we approach the SQL test.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Bishop? And the superintendent's report, Dr. Seiss.
Yes, so I have a few things, and is this in their packet, the calendar? Steve, if you can put the school calendar up. This is something new that just popped up. Well, it didn't pop up, but after conversation this afternoon, I wanted to bring this to your attention. So in February, you approved the school calendar for 26-27, and I shared at that time that we are tied to a start date that is only 2 weeks before Labor Day, which pushed us everything a week later. There is a bill in the General Assembly that is moving through quickly and expected to probably pass that changes that start date. It moves it from Labor Day to September 1st. And so if that bill were to pass this month, there could be the opportunity to amend the calendar that we approved or that you approved for 26-27. I bring it up in my superintendent's report because Dr. Bishop and I met with the principals and assistant principals today. We had a regularly scheduled meeting, and we discussed this and what that would look like, recognizing that we already have an approved calendar. A few things that I want to point out that we discussed in our meeting were that it would provide, if we made the change this year, it provides more consistency year to year because we would after this year, certainly go to operating on a start date that was 2 weeks prior to September 1st. Spring break remains the same because we've made that aligned to our regional partners. Christmas break would remain the same. It gives us closer alignment to the Chesapeake Bay Governor's School start, because I think we've reported in an earlier meeting that their plan is to start August 10th, which is 2 weeks before the August 24th start date that we have now. The change might be moving our October parent-teacher conferences. It would allow us to front-load more of the school time at the beginning of the year. So far this year, we have missed 4 snow days and we've had 3 remote days. And just thinking forward to future years, especially starting with 27, 28, we can certainly keep this calendar that's already been approved, but looking at 27 and 28, I would recommend backing it up that week. And so I can already hear the chatter now of, you took a week away from my summer if we don't make an adjustment now. Big decision would be on graduation, because if we move this back a week, that would fall, the ending of school would fall at Memorial Day, which is a lot of the feedback we get on the calendar survey, is that the preference is to have it in by then. We had some discussion today on what graduation would potentially look like, and that could be a Thursday or Friday evening graduation, which other divisions do. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it's something that we are considering. Certainly, I want your feedback on that consideration. And I'm happy to answer questions that you have. If you feel like this is something worth considering, then our next steps would likely be to put this out to our staff and our families to get their feedback on what a change would look like. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions.
So this would bump back our start date to the 17th, correct?
It would bump it back to the 17th or 18th, yes.
Okay. And with regard to graduation, I get the Memorial Day possible concern. By that point in the year, I mean, would it be possible to graduate the seniors a week early, like on the 22nd? Or
some school divisions do that.
Yeah.
I would. So it is a possibility.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Some school
Just
divisions
something to
do
think
that.
about.
Yeah. We tossed around just some things this afternoon, and that potentially could be because I know that I do have colleagues that do that.
Yeah.
Speaking as the representative to the Chesapeake Bay Governor's School, and we have one of the students here, it seems to me that to align our calendar more closely with theirs, and this may also be true for bridging communities, I think there's some real value in that. If you have to come in or at least get rides over there because there's no school bus, am I on base or off base?
I'd say you're pretty on base. I mean, I don't experience that, but I do know some of my classmates would probably agree that it would work better if they align more.
Mm-hmm. So, any other feedback? So I think you're getting some positive feedback.
That's what it sounds like. So with that, and it looks like Mr. Kennedy's looking for bridging. I think
Yeah.
bridging has the same start date, but they end
I wanted to say
earlier.
They end.
I think the end of May.
Yeah, they end on the 28th.
So there's a
Or
lot
so.
of ending at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because as of right now, their start date is also the same as ours.
Mhm.
So that really won't affect us too
Okay.
much.
Start date wouldn't, end date would be about
Yeah,
the same.
But the commencement is the 13th, so for the seniors, they'd pretty much be wrapped up over there by
Mm-hmm.
that time period.
Okay.
So with that, I would like to, we'll move forward with putting this out to our staff and families to get feedback on if this is a possibility. It sounds like that bill has enough traction that it's going to make it through, and so I wanted to,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, that's okay.
When do we expect to know the outcome of the bill?
The last meeting I was in, I was told it could be the end of this month.
I just wonder if we should wait before we send it out to families and people, do you think people would get confused if we've already printed? I found this in my book tonight and I already have this printed at home, so I wonder if.
Yeah, I have sent it out to families. That's the other thing. I have sent this out as the approved calendar.
So maybe not get their opinion until we know if it passes?
Wait until then.
That's what
I
that's
agree.
my
I would
two
say
cents.
let's
Wait until then.
table
We can do
this till
that.
At least next meeting.
Oh, yeah, definitely not anything for next
Well, I'm
meeting.
just
So
saying
I'll
we
wait
could discuss it.
until, yeah. We'll prepare something and then wait for that official approval. If you think that's not too late on, lots of plans have been made based on that. That's why I brought it up tonight, because I didn't want to get too far into almost summer. I feel like it's too late at that point. So we can do that. I'll follow the bill and the legislature on that.
I don't think we have to wait for the governor to sign it, if it takes the governor's signature, because if both houses agree to it, I don't think she's gonna disagree.
I think you're probably right on that. Yeah, so we'll track those dates and then move
Okay.
forward with, I sure appreciate that. I have just a few other things to update. Water leak at the high school has been taken care of. It was found, it was capped off. It was a little bit of a process, but water has been turned back on to that part of the building, and I did receive the notification this afternoon that the water test has come back and everything's completely fine there. I did attend last month the AASA National Conference on Education. Was able to present at that conference with two of my colleagues, two other regional superintendents. So I was able to attend some larger sessions and some smaller sessions to hear other superintendents from across the country. I also got to connect with two former Middlesex County Public School superintendents. Dr. Pete Gretz was there. He was actually recognized as the Virginia State Superintendent of the Year. And then I also got to connect with Dr. James Lane, who was a superintendent here and then also was state superintendent at one point. You noted the symposium, so I won't talk about that anymore. You also mentioned we are just a few weeks away from spring break, and things will be really fast and furious when we return from that, and all of our spring sports are in full swing. And that's my report.
Thank you. Is there any old business to come before the board? Any new business? I think I'm about to lose my voice. So pursuant to the Code of Virginia, the board will go into closed session to discuss personal matters, student matters, oh, you know the rest of it. I get laryngitis every once in a while. And thank goodness I've held up this far. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now in closed session. I usually get laryngitis at the worst possible time.
And mints, I don't know if mints will hold you.
That might work.
Yeah, I may not have it all yet because, the work's been done, but the invoices haven't gotten to us yet. Sure, yeah. He was the Virginia Superintendent of the Year for the whole Commonwealth of Virginia. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. Yeah. Thank you all. Yes, sir.
So, everybody back? May I have a motion to return to open meeting, please?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pursuant to the Code of Virginia, the board discussed personnel matters, student matters, and legal matters during closed session. Matters discussed in closed session have been added to the consent agenda and other parts of the agenda as action and information items. Members of the board, please certify that only lawful matters were discussed in closed session. Board members will respond by roll call vote.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. McMahon,
Yes.
and Ms. Robbins.
Thank you very much. And now, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. If there is no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I